All right, so getting a lot of things going right now, and one of the biggest issues we were coming across is the fact that our dog is a master escape artist. So I went out and I purchased this chain link fence kennel. It's a 10 by 10 by about 6 feet tall. And the problem is she would find every single point of weakness in this design. Now, this damn thing cost me $350 at the local hardware store, right? And the chain itself is very thin wire. You know, this is basically just like baling wire. And you can just bend this with your hands. And the poles themselves are kind of, think of like how those old school metal frame pools were put together. These poles are just as thin and crappy as that. So after I had already built it, guess what? You no longer have the warranty or anything on it. So I started doing some additions to it so that way I can not only prevent my dog from getting out during the day. The kennel is only going to be for when we're not at home, like we're at work, our kiddos at school, everything like that. And there's absolutely nobody here to manage the dog. So it's not like she's in here 24/7. But she started pushing through the bottom of the chain link fence down here. So I decided to physically disassemble the wire at the base down here and wrapped every single individual wire around the pole of the base. So now she can no longer push through there, right? Problem with that is she found out how to get under it. So she was able to crawl under it. So I had to figure out a way to be able to eliminate the high and low spots of the ground that's out here, because this ground is really rock hard. So I decided to go with some split logs. And what I did was, I'll show you right over here in a second, but what I did is I cut down a couple trees, and this is all oak 8-inch rounds, split in half, and allowed it to be able to rise and fall with the level of the ground. And then I bolted every single one of them, some of them, like these smaller ones with one, these bigger ones with two, to the chain link itself with these extra boards. So that way these things are firmly in place. And down here at the bottom, you can see there's another board here and here as a way for she can't push out under from there. Then I needed to be able to put something, I should say, after that, she decided that it was too sturdy for her to be able to get out and through, so she started to exploit more vulnerabilities in this damn thing. So then she realized that this latch right here, she can push on it with all her might, and the whole thing would swing right open, gate would fully open up on it. So I added in these two dowels right here and at the bottom, so that way this gate can only swing in and it can't swing out. So if she puts her full force against this, then it just can't go open, or we can open it up from the inside. So then, because we plan on being able to leave the dogs in here for roughly about 6 hours or so, because from the time I leave to go to work and my wife comes home from work, there's roughly about a 6-hour window. It's very hot and dry out here, so I had to put in a roof. So what I decided to do is to use some of my 2.5 by 2.5s, basically a small diameter 4x4, but they're 2.5 inches wide, as a truss around. And then I use some elastic bungee rope. The reason why I did this is because, like I said, these poles are actually pretty damn weak, and I don't want to put an excessive amount of weight on here. So by utilizing this elastic rope right here, it's holding up the vinyl canvas in a great arch to be able to provide sunshade or rain protection from it. So then I just bale wired everything to these center vertical poles here, and it's solid, it's sturdy. And the last thing I need to do is, when we go back to the old house, either today or tomorrow, I'm picking up the old dog houses that I had built for Chloe and Harley. Well, Chloe passed away beginning of this year. 13 years we had her. And if you guys ever watched the Sterling Ditch Creek video, the 30-mile journey that me and my dog did, you'll be able to see her, and I get to talk about her a little bit in that process. But because of us coming out here to the property, we got a new dog. We have another addition into the family. He's part hound. I can't remember which variants of hound he is, and healer. And he's, unfortunately, I think the gentleman that we got him from, and I say that term lightly, I think he might have been very physical with this dog because he's terrified of a lot of people. And it's taken about a week now. He's starting to warm up a little bit, but he's a good looking dog. He's definitely a great companion with Harley, our other mutt. So, I mean, it will work out eventually. So I was able to get the second dog so that way the dogs both can play with each other and not be going out of their mind. And just to be able to have a little bit more companionship, you know. So the final thing I was going to do is that doghouse. So what I was going to do is put it on that line of the fence right there where you see there's no logs around it. And I'm going to attach it directly to the kennel. So that way they still have the 10 by 10 area to be able to move around and be free with. And then just cut little sections of the wire out for them to be able to get in and out. But that's of course after I get done fully rebuilding those houses and making sure that Harley can't push through anything and just escape through that way. So an addition that I did for the kennel, because we do theoretically are going to be gone for a few hours at a time while the dogs are here, for 2 dogs I need to make sure that I have more than an adequate amount of water here for them on hand. So I came up with a simple concept. Basically it's like a water cooler design, and what I did was I took a 5-gallon galvanized bucket, hey Harley, and a 5-gallon reserve tank, and I've got it mounted just above the bucket so that way once the water level decreases in the pail, this will break the vacuum that's on there and it will automatically refill it into the neutral line, which is roughly right about here. So the only thing about this one that's not good is the fact that if you rely on this for everyday use, then the water is going to get hot, and I don't like giving my dogs hot water. They need to have fresh, clean water on a daily basis. So this is just a reserve for us to be able to have enough adequate water here for the dogs, so that way when we're gone they have plenty of hydration. This menace right here is Harley. I don't know what typical breeds she is. I was told she was part shepherd and part Catalina, whatever that means. She's an absolute moron, but she's a nipper. So we have to be able to build this for when we have guests over. She doesn't bite anybody. And then this is our new guy. This is Roscoe. He is the part hound healer mix that we've had for roughly about a week now. Definitely much more laid back, much calmer, and very skittish around people. Let's see. Hey, buddy. Hey. Hey, there you go. He's starting to get warmed up to everybody, especially our daughter. She's definitely getting a bond to him. This is the most I've been able to touch him for a while. So I finally just laid down and just had him lay down right next to me, and just played with him a little bit and petted him and got him to get a little bit more comfortable with me. So the last thing I want to do in here is, because it gets so hot, Harley, no, get back, because it gets so hot in this area, I want to put in like an automatic sprinkler system in here to just cool off the dogs when it's in the 100-degree weather. So that way it just mists them down and keeps the ambient temperature in the kennel cooler, and then hopefully they just stay outside and get a little wet, so that way that can cool their body temperature as well. All right, guys, so please stay tuned for the conclusion of building the dog kennel. Should be roughly completed within the next week or so. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because I got a lot of projects I'm doing for this homestead build, and you guys can follow along in the journey with me. I love you guys. God bless you. You have a good day.